Good evening and welcome to Hot Topics from the Soul. I'm your host, Dr. Valerie Parker Hagan.
And good evening. This is Dr. J.R. Thicklin, and we are absolutely elated to be back with you after a long summer break.
I know so much has happened, Dr. J. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. This has been tumultuous but grand, happy year so far. So much has happened, so much has gone on.
so much,
You
so much.
know, we've encountered many losses, and then you
Yes,
got married. I had eye
yes,
surgery. You
yes,
went on
yes. All those
vacation.
things happen.
All
Absolutely.
these different things have happened, and but we're so glad to be back before you. And tonight we wanted to talk about AI. Is it a beauty or a beast?
Mm. Inquiring minds really want to know because the fact everywhere you look and turn, you hear AI. Our lives are totally inundated by AI in so many ways. And it just really depends on the use of it, how the ability to grasp it, whether or not it is a beauty or a beast.
Yeah, AI is short for artificial intelligence. And the reason why I thought it important to talk about this was because there have been so many young people specifically that have been listening to the AI. They have lost all definite, their recognition of human form and replaced it with a computer. And the computer has given them instructions on ways to end their lives.
Yeah, the access, anytime power is unchecked and unheard, it's going to be dangerous and fatal. And you're exactly right. The whole thing about artificial intelligence or anything that has the ability to grab our mind, to use us, and even that fake sense of escape, you feel somewhat empowered because the fact it accepts you, it agrees with you, it gives you all the attention you want. And so therefore you trust it. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, many have trusted, they've used it for reasons that became detrimental to them.
You know, computers can't feel.
No,
They can't feel, they can't think. There's no black, there's no white, there's only data. And what
absolutely.
that data is once that data is uploaded into this mega computer system, that's
Mhm.
all it knows. And if you know, so many people commit suicide because of the loneliness. They're disconnected from human feeling and emotions, and they feel
Mhm.
lost within themselves. They have lost their ability to think, their ability to feel, and they gravitate to the computer. It's their only friend. I can't tell you how many grown people are connected to computers playing these video games. They don't even know how to relate to their spouses or their children because they're caught up in the gaming system. The gaming system is a new way of, they say, generating wealth. And just like social media with YouTube and TikTok, people are making so much money that their lives are consumed with that till they disassociate humanistic emotions and feelings. So when you're listening to a machine that you think knows all and has all, then you tend to believe whatever it says.
Well, you hit it right on the head. The word that we used a lot is that I'm now a content creator, content creator. And the thing about it is that with the aid of AI, it makes things seem so easy and so simple that a person who may have dealt with a lack of feeling confident in themselves or lack of feeling like they were in charge, all of a sudden, man, they're dominating. They feel powerful and it becomes almost addictive. It becomes a very addictive to them and it's both addictive and rewarding at the same time. And before you know it, literally, let's go back to what you said that stood for artificial intelligence. intelligence is so artificial that they have no authentic intelligence because everything is artificial, and therefore they're disconnected with reality in many ways.
I was listening to the news yesterday, and they talked about Walmart, and particularly talked about all these jobs that will be lost because they're going towards computer. You can check yourself out when you're in line and you're buying your grocery products and goods. You don't need a person with their attitudes or anything. You'll go to that computer and you'll scan out, and there will be artificial intelligence at the doors to make sure that you didn't skim the computer, because cameras are looking at you from every which away. So there's going to be a mass layoff of millions and millions of people. And it has been predicted that
Mhm.
83 million jobs will be lost by 2027 due to artificial intelligence. Now, my
Wow.
question to those that are going along with the flow is, what are you going to do when you can't make ends meet? Do you know that, even fast food jobs will be extinct because they'll all be done by robots? In California, cars are already driving without individuals steering them. You get in the car, there is no driver, it's only the computer, because it's programmed to take you where you're supposed to go. It won't deviate from that because it is computerized, and you're sitting in the back seat just chilling. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, Dr. J.
Well, I tell you, it's a scary feeling. A friend and colleague of mine earlier this year found herself in that exact situation where literally her Lyft, her Uber that came to pick her up was humanless, and she gets in the vehicle there, and I couldn't believe it. See, I don't have the nerve. I don't trust people that I see, over there in the
Exactly.
driver's seat, and to go that route. But here's the thing: it's really the effect of it. Because look, we are going through this whole technological revolution, right? And evolution. And we've seen this happen. Every time we go through these things, it's meant to make things better, more convenient. But you know what it kills? Relationships. It
Yes, it
kills the
does.
ability to socialize, the ability to relate. It kills the ability to go beyond the surface. I can recall, going to certain stores because my favorite cashier was there. Or going to stores because I knew these individuals there. And it wasn't just a matter of going to shop for what you're getting, but you knew that you have time that you would interact and you would have a conversation. Well, how are you doing today? Hey, how's Sarah doing? Okay, she's going to the what, the fifth grade? You won't have that now. Why?
Won't have that.
Because you won't be able to. Everything is computerized and everything is about that life. And let's not fool ourselves. We're at the age, we remember when microwaves came, and the promise of the microwave was, wow, it's going to save time cooking, which means that if it saved time, it should give us more time. Well, it would be beautiful if it gave us more time to sit down, to eat together, to fellowship together, to conversate together, and all that. But no, we just find other things to do with that time that it was created. And that's the danger of it, is that we live in a very strange society, right? So we call things like AI, we talk about social media, and yet it's still we are more antisocial today than ever before.
Than
We
ever
have no
before.
temperance. We don't deal with people. We're short. We live in a cancel culture type thing. And you would think AI is like money. It's in the beauty of the beholder. It depends on who's using it and how they're using it. And we've seen AI use. I mean, listen, as recently as yesterday, we saw the most successful thing I can think of, creating a fake AI video to
Yes.
of an individual to make them seem racist and to degrade them. That's stealing identity. That is false representation. That is all of those things. And the problem is, so much of that stuff seem to be protected at this moment by law.
It is definitely scary, Dr. J. I remember, you know, uh, raised up Baptist, Pentecostal, non denominational. We often heard about the mark of the beast, the
Yeah,
666. And
yeah.
we were like, yeah, right. A mark on our hands and our forehead. There's no such thing. No one could imagine anything having that much power, that much force, and we always relied on government to prohibit something like that from moving forward. But it had been in the making for a long time, with our credit cards, the chip. Now you look at our ID, our driver's license and passports, they're generated for 8 to 10 years now, and they have a chip in the back of it. Our telephones, we walk around with every day, all through the day, even when we're sleeping. Guess what? Our phone is monitoring us. We have it set up so that it can count our steps. We have it set up
Yeah.
where it can hear what we're doing, where they can pick it up. Hi, Wendy. Where they can pick it up and be able to find out what you're doing at all times. And crime stoppers, police officers are able to catch criminals because they check them by their phones. And even if they don't have their phones, they have these little watches that they
Yes.
walk around with, and they figure, oh, it's not making the connection, but yeah, it is. Our cars we drive, it is digital. It can be tracked that way. And now also, Dr. J, God forbid you have a operation and they put these metal devices in it, and it has serial numbers, so they can tap in to see where you are, what you're doing. Not only that, Dr. J, you have an operation and it's done by machines. The
Right.
doctors will be replaced and they have no bedside manner.
Right.
You in pain, you like, oh, and they're like, okay, let me compute that. So, all these different things are computer, artificial intelligence. Is it a beauty? Is it a beast?
And the reality is this, that we will find that it is going to be, it's going to definitely change lives forever. And the thing about it is this, most people, if given the opportunity, will abuse it in one way or another. But your point is very well taken, because now everything about you, there is no privacy. What privacy? We gave it up. We gave it up the moment we bought the product. We gave it up. Absolutely. You think about it. You can sit there and you can be in conversation, and whether you have the what is the Google thing or the Siri, I better not say Alexa because I have one right behind me, and they're all up in your business.
Soon as you
They're
say that,
answering
ooh,
things.
ooh, the thing go boop, boop, like
Right. Exactly.
waiting.
Yeah. And they're writing your conversation, and you go, hold up, where did that come from? Here's the other thing. Think about it. You can talk about one thing, and next thing you know, all throughout your social media or your phone, whatever you talked about, you got advertisement that's coming. You go, wow, I just said that the other day. And it's coming because it's listening. It
Mhm.
is listening. Now the problem with all that is this. Can it become a beast? Yes. Because when it's weaponized against you, it's going to be a beast. When it's used to take you down, to misinterpret what you said, it will be a beast to you. And the thing about it is that we have to ask ourselves how much power that we're giving it, and how dependent we are going to become or have become on these things. The price for convenience could be very high.
We will have to pay a price because it has made us lazy, Dr. J.
Yeah.
People aren't reading anymore to look for information. All they have to do, as you say, they say Siri or Alexa, and it'll immediately like, yes, wanting to give you that information. So we've gotten very lazy, and it actually affects our mental state because our mind isn't being exercised
No.
to stretch for, to be enlarged. We always have to enlarge our territory, but if we're sitting back being lazy, not doing anything, guess what? We wind up being obese, and
Right.
we become detached, motionless. And I believe that it also contributes to gun violence too. People are so disassociated with human life to when someone is killed, or if there's a mass shooting. You listen on the news, and a lot of our response is, wow, another mass shooting. It isn't grievous to us like it is to that family. We used to have compassion, when individuals were killed senselessly, and want to participate to do something to avoid this from happening again or happening to our family. But because we've desensitized our thoughts and our emotions, that we just don't care, or isn't. And then again, it's not like we don't care, it's like we don't want to feel. We don't want to
Right.
feel, because a lot of times we're going through so many situations ourselves, and we like, I can't do nothing about what they're going through. All I can do is hold on to me. And a lot of times the only reason why you can hold on to you is because you're in this box, and you
Yeah.
haven't allowed yourself to go out and be able to create human contact. And it builds low self-esteem. If you give your child 2 3 years old a phone and let them play on it digitally, that's all they want. You're talking to them saying, go take the trash out, and he's saying, I'm in the middle of this. And they're not listening to you, they're not
Right.
attached to you, they don't feel you physically, emotionally, to be connected with you, to know that if you don't listen, there's danger. This is what technology does when it's placed in the wrong hands. Yes, it's good in a sense, but we have to be able to set boundaries in the midst of it. And I don't think any of us are doing a good job at creating boundaries. When I say any of us, I mean any of us, because how
Absolutely.
many times have we sit on the phone and go look at Facebook, and we find ourselves just swiping, swiping, before you know, hours have went by.
Absolutely.
And a
We
lot of
become
times we're
hypnotized.
feeding ourselves garbage.
Right.
We're looking at garbage. Nothing is
Yeah.
empowering or inspiring us, and therefore we crumble from the inside out.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself because of the fact we talk about this thing called algorithms and those things there. So that means that we're constantly being inundated with these patterns of things, and it keeps going in our head. And before we know it, we are so polluted. We are so filled with negativity. We're so filled with this high. We have this need to be approved and accepted. And I have this many followers and this many likes and this many friends, and now our self-worth is based upon all of these things. And all these things now gives us identity. And guess what? All of those things can happen without us having a relationship with most people that are our followers. They don't know us.
They
In
don't
many
know
cases,
you.
we don't know them.
But
We've been
what? But a
set
lot of times we allow other people's opinion to dictate our
to
reality,
dictate our
and then
reality.
our reality. What does our reality look like? It's
Yeah.
not
No.
compiled on our actions and who we are and what our purpose and destiny is supposed to be. It is created and forged based on what somebody told us we are, or told
Mhm.
us we're supposed to do, or told us how we're supposed to feel. And we've gotten so disconnected, but
That's the
it's
word.
time to come back. Dr. J, I mean, I think that if individuals as well of ourselves as ourselves set boundaries and go back to the foundational of what family is, create
Yeah.
loving, nurturing relationships, I think a lot of this crime would temper off, or won't cease, because the devil is
Right.
busy trying to steal, kill, and destroy. So it won't be completely gone, but at least we'll have a force field in place.
Absolutely. You said something so important. We've been headed down this road for many years, and it's come to us in these increments. You know, we said a long time ago, and I can remember when I was a little boy, and I used to hear the older people say in the church, and this is when television was quite new, everything, but and we all thought it was being very dogmatic and very limited in their thinking, but they would be very cautious about this thing called the television. Matter of
Hmm.
fact, they would call it the television, and they
Mm-hmm.
would say the television because what they understood was what was coming through that box, through that thing there, was messages, was images, was lifestyles, with opinions, and all those things there that was coming into us unfiltered, and therefore they had the ability to shape the way we saw life, how we saw each other, what is right, what is wrong, and we've gone through that evolution there. And you think about it. We've gone through that evolution in many different ways. There was a time we recall that when you had television, you got about five stations at best, on your television. Then the advent of this thing called cable and eventually satellite. And what happens now? You broadcast 24-hour news, 24-hour news cycle, 24-hour news cycle. But another thing that happened? Because we had these things here, the folks on the West Coast, who was quite different from the folks on the East Coast, now we know what the folks on the West Coast do, and we envy of them. And now all of a sudden we got a rivalry going on, and all of a sudden, guess what? We create this thing called competition.
Hmm.
So East Coast, West Coast, wide rivalry, and we begin to play out what we've seen. We have played out, folks. I'm telling you, art imitates life, but I'm afraid life also imitates art, and that's
Hmm.
where we are today. And that's why so much with artificial intelligence, I understand it's meant to accelerate things and be able to do things more efficiently and quicker and all that. But there are certain things I'm telling you that we cannot afford to rush. It needs time. It
Mm-hmm.
needs attention. It needs to be able to dig deeper, to get to know, to explain yourself. You think about it. All of these things here, most of them have no filter on it. It's the reason why we have people to get catfish on social media. It's the reason why we have people, oftentimes, which I never understood this, they end up, driving to meet someone they've only talked to online
Oh, there are people that have been in relationships for
for
years
years with
with
people that,
individuals that they have never physically met.
yeah,
And when they break up with that individual, they are devastated and ready to take their lives because what? They're in love with an image
yeah,
and
yeah,
not the actual person. And,
exactly.
and it just goes back to, what I was saying at the beginning. I thought, our lives are based on what our thoughts create. So when we're feeling this way mentally, we live it out emotionally,
Absolutely. And that's the thing
which is
about it.
dangerous
It's very
with no
dangerous.
filter.
No filter at all. And we have to change that. We have to change the way that look. We have to change what that is because of the fact we now start living this life that is quote really artificial. It's not real. It's perceived. And guess what? There's a danger to it. And there's a real life danger to it. And so oftentimes what happens is that people are trying to escape reality rather than face reality.
Hmm. Wow,
And
that's
that's what's
powerful.
happening. It's the great escape rather than the face. So what looks I rather to enjoy this illusion of a life than to face the reality of a life. So for us, life be lifing. We just don't want a life along with it. Give me an alternative universe. And oftentimes that's what AI and social media serves as. It gives people an alternative universe. But I tell you, it can be a beast.
Mhm.
And we have to understand a beast is not there to be flattered. A beast is not there to be petted. A beast is there to bring fear, harm, chaos, and ultimately death. So we have to determine how deep and how far are we going with this AI? Does it control us or do we control it?
I wish and I pray that individuals would have the courage to live life out loud. I wish they had the courage like they breathe every day to say, I'm
Yeah.
going to get up, I'm going to go out, and I'm going to face life. I
Yeah.
wish that we had the courage to believe that things are possible in the natural. I wish we had the power and the capabilities of believing and knowing that God is faithful in all things. Yes, you're going to be bruised when you encounter other humans. We're human. But guess
Absolutely.
what? You'll also be hurt by engaging with artificial intelligence and nothing else.
Yeah. You know, we used to sing a song back in church, and we would say, "Let it be real." Let it be real. And unfortunately, in this day and time, we've learned to embrace the artificial. It's like looking at a fruit. We've seen fruit, plastic fruit, in a fruit bowl. It looks like an apple, looks like a banana, looks like an orange, looks like a pear, looks like grapes, only to discover that it looks like, but it brought no nourishment, no nutrition. You couldn't digest it or any of those things. And that's the thing about that is dangerous with something that's artificial. It has no real way of sustaining you because the fact it is artificial.
Very artificial. And it's time for us to live authentically. We must live authentically. Otherwise, we will not be able to stand what is coming down. Look how many jobs will be lost, Dr. J.
Goodness
Look how
gracious.
many connections, human connections, will be
Yes.
lost because people aren't going to be able to go out to work anymore to
Yes.
connect with other humans. It's
Yes.
going to be a disaster,
Finding
an
a sense of self
absolute
worth.
disaster. So I want to
Absolutely.
encourage you to go out. And when you go out, remember to breathe. Remember to
Yes.
breathe.
Yes.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Hot Topics from the Soul. Until next week,
We'll see
we
you then.
invite you to tune in and join us. Much love.
That's a lot.